Hello, it's February 21st, 2025, and let's see if I can turn this around so y'all can see all this white stuff that we have all over the place. We are presently at the dog park, so that the dogs can run around, because if they don't run around, they are going to run amok in the house, and that's going to be crazy. So my husband brought them to the dog park. I tried to walk what took me about what took him about 5 minutes took me about 45 minutes to walk around just the slush and snow. It's just hard for me to do. It's hard for me to walk on a normal ground, but anything under my feet that's weird is hard too. So I just wanted to come up and talk to y'all about how life is unexpected, and just remember, in times like these, or times like anything, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are unique. You're greatly needed in this life. No matter how hard you think you aren't, there's somebody that has been blessed by you. There's somebody that loves you. There's somebody that feels the love from you. And you may think, no, my life is meaningless. Your life is not meaningless. Not at all. Not one little bit. Of life that's on this earth right now is meaningless. Not the 2-year-old that's down the street, not the 5-year-old that runs in my yard during a snowy day, not anybody, not the 45-year-old person, not the wife who just lost her husband. None of you are meaningless. You are all part of this world, part of today, part of a plan that's greater than you or I. And I know you don't understand what that plan is yet. I don't know what that plan is yet. I have yet to figure out a lot of what God's plans are. Some of them I can kind of get. Some of them I don't understand what he's doing. But he's God, so who am I to question him, you know? I can wonder, but I don't want to question. I don't want him to think that I don't trust him, because I do. I just wish sometimes he would let me in on his plans. So I don't have a lot of verses. I thought I had my glasses on me, but I must have left them by the bed. So I apologize. I can't see my verses. And I just wanted to come up here and talk to y'all about life being unexpected. You know, it's unexpected for the woman and the daughter who are now mourning the loss of their father and their husband, who for many years has been the strong point in their family, and suddenly, without warning, he had a heart attack and died. You know, unexpectancy is the family who was enjoying life yesterday, and today they woke up and it's completely different. It's for the friend of mine who was so excited about coming to my birthday party, only to find out that her mother had died just a few days before. It's for the unexpected. You know, life is unexpected. Life is not guaranteed. Our days are numbered. It says that over and over in the Bible. And it's so true. Our days are numbered. Our days are not always going to be what we think they should be. You know, there's a girl, or now she's a woman, she's my age, who I grew up with. And as a child, I was always so jealous of her because her life was so perfect. She never had trouble. She was one of the most popular people in my school. And every time I turned around and looked at her, I'd get so jealous of her. Now, her mom was a big help when I was a child, and keeping me out of my house and things like that, and taking me in when she wasn't there. But I was so jealous of her. I loved her mom. I loved her dad, even though her dad wasn't there all the time. And I never understood why she had such an awesome life, why she was always so. She had everything. She had money. She had a loving mom and a loving dad who would fight for her. She didn't have siblings. She had aunts and uncles. And her life was just great. And I was so jealous of her wonderful life. But life didn't stay that way for her. She got older. Her dad ended up dying of cancer. A few years later, her mom ends up dying. And I know that was really hard for her. I could only imagine how hard it was. Losing my dad in 2001 was hard. But the difference is, I had gone through so much heartache and so many trials and disfigurations, or whatever you want to call them, in my lifetime, that by the time my dad had passed away, it was just another trial. It was just another crazy thing that I had to get over. Another stump, another mountain, another hill. And when Brian passed away, it was the same thing. It's just something else I had to get over. I had to understand. I had to come in grips with. But it was easier because I had already been there. I had already gone through it all. Not all of it, but I had gone through a lot. And having him pass away was just another step in my life. You know, it was a step in her life too, but I'm sure it was a lot harder to get through. You know, having one parent die and then the next parent die just shortly after that, that was probably very hard for her, very devastating for her. But this life unexpected, you face it. I'm sure you do. My friends who are dealing with drug addictions or alcohol addictions, you come down off your drugs and you realize that life isn't a bed of roses. It isn't cloud nine. You come down from your alcohol and you realize that all those things that you thought were normal were actually disoriented versions of themselves. And they weren't always good. There's a lot of bad in it too. Your lives are not guaranteed. That's why I say, you need to make sure that your life is right. Make sure you know that if tomorrow you don't have with your family, make sure you know and they know that you're going to heaven. So I share this little story with you. When my brother died, I was devastated. But before that, days leading up, I had a dream, and I know I've mentioned this before. I had a dream, and Kevin came. And Kevin died the year before Brian did, and Kevin came to and he said, "I'm taking Brian." And I was like, "You're stupid. No, you're not. You're not taking Brian anywhere." And he said, "I'm not leaving here until I take Brian." And then I woke up. I was so angry at him. He couldn't take Brian. He couldn't have him. The day that Brian took his last breaths, right before he just became a shell, my sister-in-law saw her brother, and I saw my brother by the bedside, waiting for Brian. So I know that Brian went to heaven. But he wasn't alone when he went. He didn't just walk over that pearly gate, or whatever you want to call it, when we get there by himself. He had friends with him. His best friend was with him. That's awesome. That's wonderful. So yesterday, I was looking out at the trees behind our house, and we get crows. We get lots of crows. And occasionally we have a blue jay once in a while. Sometimes we have a little bluebird that comes during the springtime. But for the most part, we get chickadees and we get crows. And that's really about all we get back there, with the goose that comes around once in a while. But yesterday, there was a cardinal in the tree. And I had always been told that if you see a cardinal, your loved one is nearby. And so I saw the cardinal, and it was just perched on the tree, and it was just bouncing around on the limbs. And I thought to myself, Brian, are you here? Of course, I don't hear Brian say, yeah, I'm here. But I just felt the peace that Brian's spirit was nearby. And I thought, Brian, what are you waiting for? Why are you here? Like, you know, his wife is moving on, or she's attempting to move on, and I'm trying to move on, and it's good to have him here once in a while. But I couldn't figure out why he was here. It was just a random day. It's a snowy day. Maybe he was enjoying the snow, I thought. And then I thought, no, he's here for another reason. Just in my head, I kept thinking there's something going to happen. Something. He's here for a reason. I went and sat down in my chair, and I couldn't kick the fact that some reason my brother was here. Some reason he had a job to do, but I didn't know what it was. And Chad had said that he even saw the bird in the tree. And it was just a weird thing. You just don't see cardinals. That's just all I can say. Not around our house, anyway. A few hours later, or a few moments later, my sister-in-law came in, and she looked at me, and she was like, did you know so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, I remember them from Brian's friend, and the lady is the choir director at the church that she attends. She said her husband just passed away. And I thought, that's crazy. It was just a moment. He was there, and then the next moment he wasn't. And that's so bizarre. And it was very unexpected. Obviously, he had a heart attack, and then they thought they got him stabled, and then he died. And I went to the backyard a little while later, and I noticed the cardinal's gone. And that just I kind of mentioned, wow, the bird's gone. And my husband didn't really say anything, so I didn't really think he listened to me. But it's kind of something that caught in the back of my head. So I was taking a shower today, and I got to thinking about something. Kevin and Ardell came for my brother. And then I wonder if Brian wasn't sent back to take his friend to heaven, so he didn't have to walk on his own. But he was there, taking his friend to heaven. I don't know, I knew he was here for a reason. He had to have been, just the way the bird was perched, and it was saying hi, but at the same time, I'm here doing work kind of thing. I don't know, I can't explain it. But Brian was here. His spirit was here to take his friend back to heaven. And I think that's cool. I really do. Two cool things about that. We knew that the man was going to go to heaven. That's no... I knew that he was going to go to heaven. I think everybody else did too. You know, and the other cool thing about that is somebody came to Earth to make sure he wasn't alone on his walk to those pearly gates, or to whoever he meets, or wherever he goes. I mean, I know he goes to heaven, but I don't know what the trek looks like going to heaven. He had a friend. And that's really cool. And my heart goes out to her family, his wife, and his child. And my prayers go to them as well. But it just goes to show how unexpected life is. Everything is unexpected. You know, I've mentioned it before. My life on the 27th of June, 26th of June, I was in Henderson with my daughters and my husband, and we were dancing around on the mountains. And I was thinking, wow, this is so beautiful. 2 days' time, I'm going to have surgery. I'm going to be able to walk again because my left leg was having issues. And then they figured out why. And it was just serene. It was a beautiful day. I have a picture of it. Beautiful day. It was literally the day before I went into surgery, or 2 days before I went into surgery. We came back down here and we went to the hospital. And what was supposed to be expected was I was supposed to have the 8-hour surgery. They were supposed to be able to take out my titanium plate. Then they were going to take part of my spine, and it was going to lift my brain up out of the back of my head and where it was being trapped. And then I was going to be able to leave the hospital in 2 days. That's the way it was supposed to be. That's the way everybody was sure that it was going to happen. But it didn't. Life was unexpected. The night before my surgery, the electricity went out in the hospital. And they had backup generators for the hospital. That morning, the electricity popped back on, but the AC turned off. Mind you, it's in the middle or the beginning of summer. It's hot outside. We need AC. Everybody needs AC. The rooms were nasty, crazy, and I'm sure there were so many people there griping and upset. Oh, why on earth would the AC go out? We have surgeries to do today. You know, we have lives to save. And I only know of 2 surgeries that were going on that day. It was my surgery, and then one of the ladies that we met in the waiting room. She was having surgery. I don't know if she was getting her, I can't think of what it's called. It's something in her body repaired, or if she was getting a new one. But either which way, I think it was her kidney. She was getting pancreas. That's what it was. I don't know if she was getting a new pancreas, if she was getting the one that she has repaired, or what. But she had a really bad bacteria growing in her pancreas. And I remember she saying that this was going to be her life-saving event, and that she just hopes all of our surgeries, or my surgery, goes well, and she hopes she gets her surgery. Well, the strange thing is that after her eye surgery, and there was another surgery that I don't know what they were having surgery for, after our 9 o'clock surgeries, they stopped. They weren't going to do any more surgeries. And I'm sure for all those other people that wanted their bodies changed for whatever reason, or the surgeries that they had to have or whatever, I'm sure they were really upset. But I can't stop to think, or not think, that if they hadn't canceled all the other surgeries, I wouldn't have had my second surgery. I had a brain bleed. My brain was upset. It was angry, and it bled. And because they had time to fix my brain, they were able to go in and fix it. That was my surgery too. I can't help to wonder if that lady also needed a second surgery, or if that first surgery was all she needed. Because I don't remember anything until July. Everybody's like, "Oh yeah, you were talking in June and da da da, and you were telling us all sorts of things and telling the doctors things." And I'm thinking, well, that's great and wonderful, but I don't remember anything until July 4th, when I couldn't figure out why there was no fireworks going off July 4th. But I don't remember a whole lot from anything except for throwing up all the time. I know I remember throwing up. I remember wondering why there's no fireworks going on. I remember trying to figure out why on earth was I still in the hospital? And my 2 days obviously has expired. It's July 4th, and my surgery was June 28th. So that's 29th, 30th, or June 29th. It was 30th and the 1st of July. I should have been out. I should have been ready to go, and I should have been able to go back and teach. But life is unexpected. I wasn't able. I wasn't able to get out. I wasn't able to move my leg. At the time, I couldn't move my arm. I was being told that I would have extensive amounts of therapy. I was being told that I made it through this time, but who's to say I'm going to make it tomorrow? I was being told that my body, my brain wasn't attached the way it was supposed to be. At the time, I had a cyst growing on my ear. I was being told that I may never hear like I used to again. That's what I was hearing. I was being told that they couldn't figure out why I was throwing up nonstop, all the time, constantly. Life is so unexpected. I would love for life to go back. I really would. You know, my oldest daughter was talking to me a couple months ago, and she said, Mama, every time I see you, I cry. Because you're not the same way you were the day before you had surgery. She's right. I'm not. I couldn't walk up a mountain. I can barely walk into my own mountain. I can't walk in the snow. I can't build a snowman. I can't take dogs for a walk. I can't walk without my help. I can walk little places around my house, but a lot of places I can't. I'm dizzy all the time. You hear the dogs in the background. There used to be a time that I could just walk to the dog park and watch my dogs play, but I can't do that either. Life is very unexpected, but we have one thing. We have God. You know, when I say that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, this is the time. This is the time that you have right now. The time to believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. We may not have tomorrow. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. Our lives are not guaranteed. Life is forever changing. Hold on to God's truth.